The Battle of Aljubarrota on August 14, 1385, was a decisive clash in Portuguese history, marking a critical turning point for both Portugal and Castile. This battle saw Portugal, led by King John I and his constable Nuno Álvares Pereira, fend off a far larger Castilian force commanded by King John I of Castile. The Portuguese victory preserved Portugal's independence and established the Aviz dynasty, securing John I's reign and Portugal's strategic autonomy. The battle's roots trace back to 1373, when Castile and Portugal vied for dominance on the Iberian Peninsula. The Portuguese throne became contested following the death of King Ferdinand I of Portugal in 1383, which left Portugal without a clear heir. Ferdinand's daughter, Beatrice, was married to King John I of Castile, which threatened Portugal's independence, as her potential reign would merge Portugal into Castile. A faction within Portugal opposed this union, instead supporting John, master of Aviz, later King John I of Portugal, who was half-brother to Ferdinand I. This struggle became known as the 1383–1385 crisis. In April 1385, John of Aviz was declared King John I of Portugal, formalizing resistance against Castile. Determined to assert his wife's claim, King John I of Castile prepared to invade and conquer Portugal, setting the stage for confrontation. The Portuguese forces, aware of their numeric disadvantage, strategically prepared for battle. Nuno Álvares Pereira, a skilled military leader, chose the village of Aljubarrota, roughly 100 kilometers north of Lisbon, as the battlefield. He leveraged a defensive position, with Portuguese forces positioned on high ground, and utilized trenches, caltrops, and pits to disrupt and funnel Castilian forces. The Portuguese army was relatively small, estimated at 6,500 troops composed of archers, infantry, and cavalry. The Castilian army, in contrast, ranged between 15,000 and 30,000 soldiers, significantly outnumbering the Portuguese. The battle began in the afternoon, with the Castilian forces advancing under the heat of the August sun, a factor that fatigued their troops. As the Castilians moved uphill, they encountered the Portuguese defenses, which slowed their advance and disorganized their formations. This allowed the Portuguese longbowmen and infantry to inflict severe losses. Portuguese tactics played a crucial role. Nuno Álvares Pereira utilized a military innovation called the defensive escudo formation, where infantry held a strong, shielded front line while archers and crossbowmen attacked from behind. The Castilian cavalry repeatedly attempted to breach the Portuguese lines but faced staunch resistance and heavy casualties. As the Castilian army grew increasingly exhausted and scattered, Portuguese soldiers counterattacked, encircling and decisively defeating the Castilian forces. The battle turned into a rout, with Castilian forces retreating in disarray. The Portuguese victory at Aljubarrota was both swift and complete, marking a resounding end to Castilian ambitions over Portugal. Thousands of Castilian soldiers were killed, with John I of Castile narrowly escaping capture. This victory solidified John I's rule over Portugal and preserved its independence, shaping Portuguese identity in history. The Portuguese erected a monument, the Monastery of Batalha, to commemorate the victory, which remains a significant historical and cultural landmark. Aljubarrota established Portugal as an independent nation with a strong, unified identity and initiated a golden age of exploration and expansion in the 15th century. For Castile, the loss weakened its influence over Portugal and shifted its focus back to internal consolidation, ultimately setting the stage for future Iberian conflicts but preserving Portuguese sovereignty.